Good afternoon, students. And so today we're going and continuing our journey into poetry. And we're going to talk about poetry, talking about immigration. And then I think that the United States is a country of immigrants. Unless you're a Native American, everybody else that has ever come here is an immigrant. And so we are a country of immigrants that should be proud of our immigrant heritage. And so that's what today's this week's topic is going to be about: immigration. And so without further ado, I will talk about immigration and poetry. So today we will discuss poetry that explores immigration and the experiences of those who leave their homelands to begin new lives in the United States. The United States is a nation shaped by the presence of both indigenous people and hold many untold memories. Poetry provides a unique lens by understanding these experiences, giving voices to feelings, challenges, and cultural transitions that might otherwise remain unspoken. One of the most iconic poems about poetry is Ezra Lazarus' sonnet, The New Colossus, written in 1883. That's the poem that's on the Statue of Liberty. While the poem initially received little attention, after Lazarus' death, it was engraved on a plaque and placed at the statue's base. So on the base of the Statue of Liberty is the very famous poem, The New Colossus, by Lazarus. And so, give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, have become emblematic of the United States. Informal ethos on immigration. The poem extends a voice of welcome to immigrants while simultaneously reflecting the broader political realities of that time. When analyzing a poem requires attention both to form and content. By introducing the poet's full name and the title of the poem. So for this week, you're going to be given a whole bunch of immigration poems. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these immigration poems, and then you're going to analyze that poem. So think about, how would you analyze that poem as it relates to your own immigration experience, or your family's immigration experience, or your friends' immigration experience? And then how does poetry allow you to have a voice in your feelings, in your experiences? And how does the format of poetry allow you to express your feelings? So poetry is a great way for you to express how you feel about something, whether it's about somebody you love, like a love poem, like the sonnets of Shakespeare, or how you feel about sadness, somebody passed away, or poems of beauty, like in the Bible, where you have many, many poems of beauty that talk about the wonder of the beauty of the creation of God, the creation of the natural world. In Japan, poetry is used, it's called haiku, and poetry is used to express a Japanese person's appreciation and love and the beauty of nature. So this week, we're going to analyze a lot of poems about immigration. And so when you analyze poetry, you should look at it line by line. Okay, you look at figures of speech, look for metaphor, simile, personification, apostrophe, or allusion. For example, in the immigration poem, Lazarus personifies the Statue of Liberty as a mother of exiles, a metaphor that conveys nurturing and protection for immigrants. Sound devices identify alliteration, consonants, assonance, euphony, or cacophony. The repetition of soft sounds in sea-washed sunset gates contributes to a welcoming lyrical tone. Rhythm and meter. Examine iambic pentameter and enjambement or rhyme scheme. The new Colossus is a sonnet, so its 14 lines follow a structured rhyme and meter that underscores a formal dignity and gravitas of the message. Consider the persona, the voice and tone, symbolism, word choice, and attitude. So Lazarus adopts the persona of the statue as a speaker, addressing the world, creating a tone that is both authoritative and compassionate. After analyzing each line, conclude by reflecting on what you found most compelling. Perhaps it's the poem's historical resonance, the emotional appeal to empathy, or the elegant fusion of political message and poetic artistry. Think about explaining how the poem deepens your appreciation for both its content and its craft. Finally, in this week's discussion post, also serves as a low-stakes draft for your poetry explication essay. Remember to introduce the poet and poem with a clear thesis. Analyze the poem line by line and specify the poetic elements. Close with your personal reflection on the poem's impact and significance. Follow APA guidelines for any sources you consult. As you respond to your peers, focus on giving constructive feedback. Is the introduction clear about the poet, poem, and theme? Does the analysis address poetic elements thoroughly? Are personal reflections thoughtful and insightful? Offer two specific strengths and two suggestions for improvement. By approaching poetry on immigration and in this structured way, you gain both analytical skills and a deeper understanding of the emotional and cultural dimensions of the immigrant experience. So I'm going to go over all the different poems and all the different kinds of poems. And so the US is a nation shaped by immigrants and indigenous people. Poetry provides a powerful vehicle for expressing these experiences, often conveying the emotional, psychological, and social complexities of leaving home, confronting discrimination, or finding a place in a new land. We begin with Emma Lazarus's iconic poem, "Give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free," presents the main ethos of immigration in the United States. So you could choose from all of these different poems, such as Pragita Sharma's On Immigration and Lee Young Lee's Immigration Blues, which explores the personal and familiar dimensions of immigration, reflecting on identity, language, and legacy of leaving one's homeland. Or Eduardo C. Corral's In Colorado, My Father Scoured and Stacked Dishes, and Shinyu Pai, A Day Without an Immigrant, which illuminates the labor and social challenges immigrants face in everyday life. Maria Melendez-Kelson, Ice Agents Storm My Porch, and Hai Dang Fan, My Father's Norton Introduction to Literature, dramatizes the tension and vulnerability immigrants experience when confronted by legal and societal structures. Ricardo Blanco's America and Nick Carbo, The Bronze Dove, highlights cultural heritage, memory, and the emotional pull of the homeland, exploring dual identities and generational legacies. Poets such as Tarfia Fadzullah, Emma Perez, Hajin, Mahmoud Darwish, Salasa Milotz extends those explorations to refugees and exiles, addressing forced displacement, war, and political oppression. This work bears witness to suffering, loss, and resilience, while emphasizing the universal search for safety, belonging, and dignity. These poems often employ rich imagery, metaphor, and narrative voice to convey both personal and collective experiences of exiles. Another category of poems, Borders crossings, and cultural negotiations. Another subset of poetry focuses explicitly on borders, geographical, political, and cultural. Works by Javier Zamora, Juan Felipe Herrera, Martín Espada, and Cheryl Luna depict border crossings, surveillance, and the emotional landscapes of immigration. These poems highlight risk, hope, and the constant negotiation of self within restrictive systems. Through voice, tone, and vivid imagery, poets show how borders shape human lives and identities. So when you go over these poems, think about the figures of speech, such as metaphors, similes, and personification, which often convey emotional and cultural nuances. Sound devices, repetition, alliteration, and rhythm reinforce meaning and tone. Voice and tone. Many of these poems adopt a first-person perspective or a persona to embody immigrant or refugee experiences, combining narrative and lyric forms. Structure and form. Line breaks, enjambment, and stanza patterns shape reading, pace, and emphasize themes of movement, migration, and displacement. Collectively, these poems reveal the multiplicity of immigrant experience, celebrating resilience, mourning loss, critiquing systemic injustice, and imagining hope. By reading across historical and contemporary works, students gain insight into the cultural, political, and emotional dimensions of migration. These poems invites us to engage empathetically, expanding our understanding of identity, belonging, and human mobility. Throughout human history, humans have always migrated from place to place in order to gain safety, find a better life, or just to escape social injustice. Think about Jesus. He had to escape. King Herod wanted to kill all the male babies. And so God told Jesus that he needs to leave and go to Egypt in order to get safe, to become safe. And so Jesus was a refugee also. And so throughout human history, people have always moved from place to place in order to become, as I say, become safe, seek a better life, escape cruelty and violence, and that sort of thing. So think about this week, we're going to talk about immigration again, and choose a poem about immigration that resonates with you. And then for the week 6 forum, when you choose your immigration poem, then analyze that poem, as I said before, by looking at the sound devices, looking at the metaphors, looking at the themes, the sound, the voice, the persona. In other words, what does that poem mean to you? How does this poem relate to your experiences? And if you're brave enough, you can write your own poem as well. After you choose your poem and you analyze it in the week 6 forum, and if you're brave enough, I welcome you to write your own poem of immigration in the week 6 forum, in addition to analyzing the poem from the Poetry Foundation. So that's not extra credit work, that's volunteer work. It probably will be ungraded, but it will be fun for those of you who like to write poetry and write about your experience. So if you have any questions for this week's assignments, because I love poetry, it's a great way to express how you feel about everything, since poetry focuses on your feelings, on how you want to express yourself through poetry. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And so I hope you all have a great week.